probably a few guys in the business at the moment that you look at and go, you look like you should be serving me a coffee, but I'm a fan. Who am I to be that one to make that comment? You know what I mean? You've done your time in the business. For me to say that is, I apologize, and it isn't respectful to say, but I can definitely understand where you're coming from on that point. But coming into the WWE, how was it? Obviously the transition and getting back into going into the WWE, was it obviously brought in because Carlito and Primo, they had a very, very successful run as the undisputed tag champs, and Carlito had a great run as well. But how did you find obviously coming back over from obviously spending your time in Puerto Rico and then working under that WWE banner and learning that style?
Oh, well, it was they test everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. You had to learn from the ground up. I had one of the first things they say is we respect you, we admire what you've done, but here you start from zero. It doesn't matter if you were the Universal Champion in Puerto Rico or whatever, or tag team champion. Right here, you're gonna get here early. You're gonna set up the ring. You're gonna set up promotional work. You're gonna go to the towns and put the posters against the. You're gonna start from the ground up, selling concessions, selling tickets. It's a very humbling experience that I believe that every wrestler or potential wrestler should go through, because it makes you appreciate everything that goes into this industry, from the setup to the teardown. Yeah. And I went in there with the open mentality. I made it a point when I got there, say, hey, my people might see, hey, here comes the family of a legend. He's gonna get opportunities, but I made sure that I was the first one in the building every morning. I made sure that I woke up 2 hours before we were supposed to be there. If I had to be there at 9, I was there at 8 or 8:15. I try to stay there as late as possible. Same thing when we went to the gym. I try to go there, be one of the first ones there, so I can show the boys that I'm not just another one that has everything opportunities given to him. I earned it.
Yeah. Did you feel like when you were there that you did have a few eyes on you going, oh, here comes another, family member of a legend?
At the time, no, because there were a few, probably more wrestlers that were second generations than newer guys. And those newer guys were football players or former athletes who didn't really know much about the business. Yeah. It wasn't until about 4 or 5 months when I was in that they started signing a lot of independent wrestlers. Like Seth Rollins came in a few months after me. Cesaro came about 8 months after me, and Dean Ambrose came a few months after me. But when I got there, it was me, Brett DiBiase, Bo Dallas was there. Bray Wyatt was there. Haku's son, Tangaloa, was there. So it was a bunch of second generation wrestlers. Tamina was there. The Usos were there. Richie Steamboat was there. So it was a bunch of second generation wrestlers. So I didn't feel that tension.
The segregation or anything like that. No. Yeah. Well, I suppose that's the thing. You couldn't sort of have a group of people that you can relate, and at the end of the day, having a legend of a family member in the wrestling business doesn't mean you're any less of a wrestling fan yourself, or have any less of a passion for it. So,
right.
But going through to you spent some time in Florida Championship Wrestling before moving up into WWE. And tagging with Primo. What was it like making your WWE debut and debuting on like Raw and SmackDown? What was the feeling of that like for you?
It was crazy because I was doing a gimmick with a bunch of guys. We were doing the Ascension, the original Ascension. It was about 5 of us. It was me, Connor. It was this English guy, Bram from TNA, I think.
Yeah, I remember.
And Shaw, Eddie Guerrero's daughter, Shaw, she was in the group. Yeah. And they were grooming us to go up to the main roster. And then all of a sudden, Bill DeMott comes to me, comes to the group, and hey, they're gonna call. The group is gonna go on the road soon, but they're gonna call one of you guys up, and I want to see what's the feeling. I was like, but who's leaving? No, I just wanted to get, you guys' opinion if one of you guys got called up to the main roster. Well, we can't hold anybody, any grudges against him because we all want to get to the same place. We all want to make it to the big dance, to WWE. And he goes, that's the answer I was looking for. Oh, by the way, you, Orlando, you're the one that's going to get called up. I was like, me? Like, I don't even have another set of gear. That's not a set. I was like, don't worry about it. I think they're just going to put you on some live events, and then 4 or 5 months you might get, the debut. So I did a couple of live events with Primo, and Primo was on Raw. So we do TV in Atlanta, I think it was, and SmackDown was in Greenville, South Carolina. So Primo went home after Raw. So they sent me to SmackDown, and then they tell me, hey, you got any gear? I was like, yeah, I got my gear. What do you got? Oh, I got this. Okay, you're debuting on SmackDown tonight. I was like, what? Against who? Oh, you're working wrestling against Sin Cara. I was like, oh, wow. Jeez, I didn't know this. But it just came out completely out of the blue. Got me completely off guard,
Yeah.
Then the following week, it was me, Hunico, against the Usos, and Primo was their manager. And we did this gangster kind of gimmick that after the match was over, they said it was too violent for TV. Like, all right,
really?
whatever, I can see it, And then 2 weeks later, it's me and Primo tagging. They didn't know what to do. And it was I was just, they needed a body, and I was that body. So luckily they were able to pair me with Primo, and then Rosa came along, and then okay, I think we like this package. Let's just put him on TV and see where they go. And luckily we were able to get a good little run with Kofi and Evan Bourne, where we ended up getting the belts. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, how long did you guys have the belts for? You had it for a little while, didn't you? Like
it's basically we were gonna get it by default. It wasn't because they had any plans. It was, I think Evan was hurt. I think he needed surgery. Yeah. So we were the tag team that was working with them at the time. So it just made sense for them. They just put him on Primo and Epico. So we won it at a live event. So it wasn't even we did it on TV. So we were lucky. We had it from January to April. We did WrestleMania in Miami, and I think after the Europe tour, that TV, when we came back from Europe, that's when we dropped the belts to R-Truth and Kofi. But they didn't have any plans with it. It was just, all right, give it to those guys by default. So,
what's your thoughts on?
I'll take it.
What's your thoughts on the way that WWE's booked tag team wrestling? Over the last few years. I mean, it's sort of like they try and do it, they get it, and then they just pull the rug underneath it.
It basically comes down to numbers, man. And this comes from Hunter. Way before I got called up to go to the road. He comes down to FTW to talk to the talent, that's been there for over a year. The guys that could work. He saw some guys were getting frustrated, like Seth Rollins was frustrated, and Ambrose, and a bunch of us were really frustrated because we didn't have any direction. We were supposed to be a part of NXT season 4, season 5, and we did some pictures, we did some promotional work. They sent the crew to record us. We did 2 groups of guys, so it was about 10 guys. They didn't know which group was gonna go. So when nothing happened, all of us was like the morale was kind of down. So he came down and talked to us. Hey, it's just it's just creative. Doesn't have anything good for NXT, the brand itself, for what they're doing at the time on TV. So it's just it's better to keep you guys down. But I was sitting with Hunter. He was telling me, man, just sit tight. Your time is coming up. And I go, I told him, put me with Primo as a tag team. He goes, yeah, that's an option, but Vince doesn't believe in tag teams. Like, but how come? You've had great tag teams, the Rockers, Heart Foundation, British Bulldogs. Like, how come? And then he explained to me, it all comes down to numbers. It's a business now. To put up a tag match, you have to pay four guys instead of 2. That's 4 plane tickets. It's just it's not cost effective, And I got it, because when we used to help my uncle book in Puerto Rico, so it's better to bring 2 single, put a match with 2 guys than to fly 4 guys to Puerto Rico. It's a lot, it costs a lot of money. So it basically comes down to numbers, and I got it. And he explained to me that way. So I was like, you know what, I respect that, and whatever it is you have for me, I'll take it. Even if it's being attacked, and even if there's nothing, I just wanted to be on the road, And even
Yeah.
though they didn't do anything with the division, the money was great. You know?
That's the main thing.
Can't complain. Yeah, the money.
As long as
The
you were
money's great.
compensated from being away from your family and loved
Yes.
ones. So we got a question from a Sydney promoter here in Australia. He promotes for the AWE. His name is Sammy Russo. He says, how are the numbers in Puerto Rico? Well, we've already discussed that, around 18,000 for a full house. Who are the main guys in Puerto Rico? Well, I think it's yourself at the moment. You're the current WWC champ, Universal champ.
Yeah. Myself, Primo is the top heel alongside another guy named Gilbert, who's a guy I beat for the title belt. We got Carlito. He comes in and out, and he does really, really good numbers for us. And we're developing about a bunch of new talent. You know, it's just a matter of time. You can't just take one guy and then make him a star. It takes time. His name is Bellito Calderon. He's a really, really good prospect. And we got Savio Vega, who, you know, in and
Legend.
out, legend. We got Ray Gonzalez, the legend. Who else we got? And I think that's about it for now. You know, with the whole pandemic, a bunch of the wrestlers are not even living in Puerto Rico. They moved to the States. So
hope it's safe over there. But so one of the things, so being in WWE and being told that by Hunter saying, yeah, Vince doesn't really believe in tag team wrestling, and then later being called up into a tag team where you kind of like, oh fuck. You know, like,
yeah, I knew it, but when I got put in a tag team with people, I was like, you know, it's one of my dreams, so let me make the best of it. Maybe because we had good talent. That's the thing. We have incredible talent. It's just a matter of giving us a little bit of the spotlight. You know, we have the Usos, you know, the New Day, you know, but it's just when the division was right there, they never did anything to push it over the hump. You know what I mean? We never got.
That's and as a fan watching it, it's like just, you know, like so many great tag teams. I was sitting there just on something, you know, do it, you know.
Yeah, and they just don't. You know, but that's their mentality. I mean, at the end of the day, it's if I was getting paid, I you know, there comes a point where when you're young, you're hungry, you want to push ideas, you want to push everything that you can to be involved in the creative, to help the creator, you know, the writers to pitch ideas. And they're always saying, yeah, just go in there, talk. But we did that for about 5 or 6 years. And then it comes a point where you just, you know what? I run out of ideas, just pay me. That's all I cared about. You know, I have a kid, I have a wife. I've been away from home for 6, 7 years at the time. You know what? If you're not taking the ideas into consideration, then why am I going to waste, you know, my time? You know, it's taken away from the passion and the love, you know, that I have for this business. Just pay me. I said, you know, it's all about the money at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, as long as, you know, you're compensated for your time and energy that you put into it. But, you know, your time in the WWE main roster, you guys went through a couple of different character changes, you know, from the Colognes to Los Matadores to the Shining Stars. Out of the different characters that you've had to play, and like, firstly, which one was the most fun? Which one was the most enjoyable that you got out of it?
The one that we hated the most was the one that we had the most fun, the Matadors. The Matadors character was only supposed to be like a 2-month program to work with Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara, who weren't doing anything at the time. And we're like, let's just do like a match versus mask. Everybody knows it's Primo and Epico, but let's just see where we can go. We had some good ideas. But then again, when they love the idea, but then they're gonna start pushing it. They go, yeah, you're gonna have a bull, a mascot. Like, what? That's not. We don't want to be baby faces. It's a haha. You know, we wanted to be. You know, but then we said when we were getting Mascarita Sagrada, probably the greatest mini wrestler this planet's ever seen. So we're like, okay, there might be something there for the kids, and this guy can do a bunch of stuff that nobody's seen on WWE TV. And they never got to see, unfortunately, because they always put the handcuffs on him. Every time we knocked on the door, hey, can we do this? No, because that's a DQ. No, it doesn't make sense. No, they kept putting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock to do stuff on TV. I'm like, Jesus Christ, and why would you even sign this guy?
Yeah,
to
just
just
so
keep
no
him
one
in
else
a,
could.
it's just no, I was like, and he was frustrated too. I mean, he was, and we kept, just get your paycheck, man. Get your check. Get your check. You got family. You got kids. Feed them. You're not doing any. You're not getting hurt. When your run is over, you can still do what you were doing.
Yeah,
But it was
exactly.
just. But then again, once those tours came, we had a lot of fun with them. I mean, oh God, that guy is unbelievable.
It looked like a lot of fun, and especially like the matches he had with Swoggle, and like
Ooh.
yeah, what the WLC match. That to me, I was like, when I saw that being advertised, like, I don't know
They
what
tore
this
the
is,
house
but
down.
I have to
Yeah.
watch. It was, man. I just sat there. I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Because you think like minis wrestling, and as sadly to say, most fans think comedy act, and they really proved that
That's
that
true.
they were no comedy
No,
actors, and
no, they put their bodies on the line, man. They took some nasty hits. Everybody
oh,
did. Everybody
dude.
did.
Yeah, man, that Swoggle's a crazy little fucker, man. I tell you.
Yep.
Like,
Good bro, man. He's a good dude.
yeah, man. I've seen some of the shit that he's done since he left WWE, and I'm just like, oh, damn. But how much did you guys have in coming up with the characters and the gimmicks themselves? Like for the Shining Stars as well. Like I really enjoyed that gimmick. Really saw the persona and the personality coming out of you and Primo. You know, what was your thoughts on and how much involvement did you have with creating that character?
Shining Stars, zero. Zero.
Really?
No, we were pitching an idea to bring back Carlito after the Matadors. We did an angle in Puerto Rico where we were frustrated, and in the middle of a match, we just took our masks off, which is a big no-no in WWE. Uh, they gave us permission to work for my uncle every time that we didn't have a show on the road with WWE. So we had a handshake deal with them. Hey, every time we don't have to work, we'll go to Puerto Rico. And we're not going to do anything crazy. We're not going to work against anybody that was in TNA at the time or New Japan. We're going to work guys that
Locals.
weren't signed for, locals. So we're working with this tag team, and it just, for some reason, the match was flat. We're in Puerto Rico. People know that it's, the Colon family, and they're wearing masks representing another country. It's just people. It's like, So at the end of the match, we just cut a promo and just took the masks off. The whole place erupted. I'm okay. Let's get on a plane. Let's go to Raw, and let's get, somebody's gonna call us, and I don't know, we're gonna get fined, released. At that point, we didn't really care. So I guess we get there. I was like, oh, so I wonder who is gonna stooge off what we did last night, Puerto Rico. I just want to know. At that point, we just wanted to get a laugh. Who's the stooge? Who's the snitch?
Yeah.
And we're in the locker room, and I think one of the camera crew guy comes in and goes, hey, you guys were talked heavily in the meeting. I'm like, oh, go figure. I just wonder who was the one who said who spread the word. And then one of the producers comes out, hey, Vince he's thinking highly of you guys. He respects you guys. Like, what? After what we did last night? Yeah, he likes guys that have guts, that have balls. Okay. And then I think it was Michael Hayes who came, hey, you guys have been frustrated for a while. If you guys want to pitch an idea, tonight's the night, because he's very, very high on you guys. I was like, all right. Me and Primo had about a quick 30-minute meeting and say, is this the time to talk about Carlitos? Like, well, if it's not now, it's going to be never. So we
Yeah.
go knock on the door. He's always been cool on us. I think he liked us or respected us. So we pitched this idea to bring back Carlito. He was like, oh, his eyes was like, oh, really? So he was biting into it. He might have been working us. I don't know. So we pitched this idea. Long story short, we met with the writers for about 4 months to elaborate this, this whole storyline to bring back Carlito. They were talking to Carlito to sign him. Then the deal fell through. They didn't offer him. It was like a less than a developmental deal. So he's like, I don't need, I don't need WWE. I'm good where I'm at. I'm actually making more money than what double than what they're offering me. So I'm like, you know what? Business is business. It's a shame that we couldn't do it here, but maybe down the road. But we kept with our main idea because I don't think Carlito. We're just gonna bring somebody else in to fit in his role. So we're ready to getting about 2 weeks from debuting. They one of the writers go, "Hey, Vince wants to talk to you guys about your gimmick." I'm like, "Oh, great. Let's see. Maybe we're debuting tonight or next week, whatever." We go there. He goes, "Hey guys, I got some great ideas." I'm like, "What is it, man? What's this about?" There's been a slight change on your gimmick. I'm like, okay.